Alright, so right now I've separated a lot of these parts based on color. It's all primed, and I've already double checked and triple checked these parts. Some of them during the priming phase was either a little too light, or some droplets actually fell on top of the parts. Mostly what you see here on the stand here. I had to respray paint them again. Well, no, correction. I had to sand them down first to get rid of the droplet formation, clean it up, then reprime it again, and now it's here waiting for it's finishing up to dry. But I separated it into trays because these will be, if I'm not mistaken, I think these are the dark. You know what? Now I think I may have a mistake. Hold on a second here. Because I was separating parts left and right, figure out which one is which. I know these are the dark parts. Yeah, I have to review them again. But dark, pink, and these are the grayish parts. Well, it's a mixture of grayish parts, because that way I want to work on the colors that will probably take the most time. Oh, actually no, not the most time. The littlest of time. Most likely the grays and the whites will be painted the other color. So I want to get those out of the way first. That way it gives me time to work on the more important colors. The red, as a matter of fact, let me get it here. The pink and the char red. So an example would be in, actually this one is going to be the non-reddish color, so I'll pull that to the side. Well, it's most likely like this will be the darker color tone, which will be the red, dark red. This will be darker tone. Actually no, I'm sorry. These are the pinkish tone colors. That's why I made the mistake. So this will be the pink colors that goes right here. While these are the darker tones. Some of them will be dark. Like, okay, this whole area, this one is going to be dark, while the waist part will be pink to offset, you know, the balance right there. This will be dark as well. Some of the other parts, whoops, let me just pull it here, like the ones I sanded down. This will be pink. And then this little trim here, I don't know if I'm going to make it dark red or maybe do it the gray. I don't know yet at this moment in time. These parts, of course, like I mentioned before, will be two-tone, so I'll probably end up painting the whole thing pink. No, sorry, they will probably be all painted dark red, but then masked off the areas to show off these parts, and then paint it the pink color. So that will be good for this. The same thing here. Everything will be painted pink, then masked off, and then painted the dark red. Simple, right? But let's work on the other colors first and get those out of the way. Hang on. So before I begin painting, there is one thing I want to touch. I am going to be using a combination of this color for the gun, while this one's for the white parts. Of course, this is gray FS 16440 for the United States Navy F-14A4 aircrafts. This is a gloss coat. To the naked eye, you do see a bit of a shade difference. Like the off-white color that I normally see from the Gundam white paint. This one is just a tad, like another layer, maybe two shades darker, yet it's not completely dark. So I've been thinking about doing this, and now I have this opportunity to try it. I'm going to use this paint. I'm going to use 80% of this, while I use 20% of this, or maybe 10%, just to bring it up an extra darkness to it. This is, of course, for the parts that I'm about to show you here, all these parts that you see here, the white parts, which I've already primed. So I'm going to do that for this, and to do that, I'm going to need to mix it. Now, normally what I do is I'll mix it from the actual airbrush. However, I forgot that I purchased these G03N's spare bottles in recipe box. This is from the Gaia Notes series. I got it from Hobby Japan last year, or was it this year? For, in a way, a situation like this, to mix a paint to the type that I want. So, taking out one little bottle here. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because, remember, there's certain parts on the kit, the part of the feet, that I'm going to need to spray that as well. So I want to keep a little bit of the paint left over. So I'm going to take a little mixing here. Just give it a good stir. Miguel told me a while back I should get one of those little mechanical, motorized stirrers that will allow me to stir the paint better. I should look into something like that in the future. So, I'm going to do up to that, right, and that should be fine. That amount should be okay, considering how many parts I have here. And if I like this, and if I like how it comes out, I'll definitely use it for another job or another kit. Now, let me just get clean this up a bit. Now, this, of course, the pigment's settled in, and then you have what's left over on the top. So I'm going to stir it to mix it up. There we go. It's a good shade of gray, and again, this is 305 F. I don't want to tip this in paint and drop all the paint. FS36118. This is again for F-15 aircrafts. Alright. And instead of me dipping it in there, I'm just going to use a little, this one, and then drop a few drops in there. Let's do 5 drops. One more. Good. Alright. Let's mix it up a bit. Okay, I kind of like that shade. It's a little darker. Comparing it to this one that just dropped, but I think I'm going to do another drop just to get into the right color. The last time I've done something like this, and this was a long time ago, was on my master grade Aegis when I was mixing some paints, red paints. One more drop. Come on. Nope. Guess not. There we go. I don't want. I wanted another shade. I just don't want to. I don't want to screw this up. So I'm going to do one more drop, or the 2, or the one that's in there, and then we'll just mix it up. And again, this is where the a mixing, you know, a mechanical mixing stirrer will be required for something like this. Yeah, that's good. That should be fine. Of course, you know what I could have done, and many people will probably say I should have done it this way. Instead of me priming the parts, the gray color, I could have primed it black, and that should add a darkness to it. But we didn't, so we're going to try these techniques and see how it looks. Alright, so I put a little more thinner in here to thin it up. Didn't want to do it from the reservoir, but this should be easy to spray on, and it should balance out the color a little bit better. Good. Alright. Hold on a second here. Make sure everything looks good here. And make sure all the parts are here. Plus, where the heck did this hair come from? There we go. Alright, so... See, I knew that was going to come off. The minute I finish painting all these parts and they dry, I'm going to take them off this so they don't fall off and put them in a place where I can store them. You know, there's a lot of detail in these white parts. Areas that you're going to have to paint inside, whether you want to do a regular paint job, like airbrushing, or maybe hand painting it. I mean, there's places where you can probably use a Gundam marker, whether it's a fine point or real touch, or any other type of markers that you think would be appropriate to get into these little wedges and lines. Wherever the case may be, you're gonna have to look into a way of doing it where you don't damage the part or you ruin the finish. It's kind of hard to do it for something that's small. My advice: take your time, find it out, and work it. I'm also kind of like saying to myself, and I mentioned this before in previous videos, if Bandai decides to make a 1/100 scale version of this guy, imagine the fact that I would have to repeat the same process again on a bigger plate or a bigger cardboard stand, holding, you know, with a reversible tape, on the same parts that I would have to paint it again. that would be for me. Alright. I still have leftover paint. When I wait until it dries a bit, then do another pass so I can give it even coverage. And like I said before, I made this customly for the oh, that's right. There is a part that I need to remove. Where is it? Let's deal with that now before it's done. This part here, I'm going to remove it, and this needs to be painted. And I'm going to take this alligator clip off and put it here and paint it as well. Because that way, later on, I'll put it back on once it finishes drying, and I do final assembly. There we go. But for the feet, not the feet, this part right here, I want to paint the color, the red color or the pinkish color first, then mask it off, and then what I have here, finish it off here, so that way it doesn't get done. But that's for later. All right. So let me finish this up, or put it back on, and then we'll move on to the next color. Okay. Now then, we're now going to move on to the next color. And originally I was going to do the gunmetal, not gunmetal, excuse me, the MS gray, which is metallic, which is going to be for the inner frame parts. However, I realized a little bit of a mistake, because even though the legs and portion of the arms needs to be painted this color, I forgot the fact that I'm going to have to mask the whole arm off in order for me to paint this gunmetal. Metallic. So instead, I'm going to paint the next color, which is definitely the most important color, which will be pink. So that way, once I paint it pink, I can then mask off the pink parts that I just painted to paint off the metallic. So I've already have the pink in the reservoir, and we're going to begin with the parts that I've pre-selected for pink. And we begin with this leg. So make sure it's out nice, good flow. I did give it a good mixture here, so I want to make sure it can. You know what? That doesn't look right. When I was spraying it, I sprayed a little bit, but I need to do like a much larger coverage. There we go. That should be fine. Alright. Let's do this. Look at that. That's pretty nice. This is the back thruster type thing that's on the backpack. I'm going to paint the little things that stick out in the back the darker red. The coverage is very nice with this paint. Good. Very good. Let me just get the inside a bit because I have a feeling it's going to show. Don't be hesitant on not covering that up. Now, this is the thigh armor. Good. That looks really nice. Very nice. Wow. Deeply impressed. Oh, we need to do this. The shoulder. Because remember, we're going to mask off the parts. So, good. Very good. Well, the parts that I'm going to do is this one right here. Oh, of course, this one right here. Good. There we go. I like that. Yeah, that's good. Now the arm. This is the static arm, by the way. The one that goes in the back. One might be compelled to do the reverse, meaning we paint this a darker color and then paint this over. The problem is, remember that the darker color may show up under a lighter tone, so it's better to do the lighter tone first, then do the dark, then mask it off, and then do the darker tone over it, so it covers it up. The one thing that I am kind of considering of doing is I may have to mask this whole section off so I can see the little thruster here on the arm and paint that the other color. So that's a work right there to do. Alright, so that takes care of that. Do I have any other parts that I can actually... Oh yeah, I have the bicep armor, which I only have is one, but I think there's another one there. No, I think it's one because remember, the other one has the clamp thingy, so it can hold on to the other arm in exchange. And so yeah, I decided to make this one pink too, which is the part of the top part. However, now I am considering masking off this entire section here and painting the other color. Whether I do the red or maybe the gray would probably be a better choice than just doing red. I don't know yet. Yeah, this color is beautiful. There we go. Check that out. And then this part here, this is going to be red, dark red, but I'm thinking I'm going to do this. This whole section here, which is in the back area, will be the dark red. This will be the pink. So, just cover it up to there. There you go. Easy peasy. Okay, so let me continue on. I think I have, you know what, I'll do one last one before I go. The head. And this is another thing that I think I'm gonna may end up maybe masking off. First paint the whole thing pink, then mask off everything from the cheek, from the part here from the cheek going down, and then this circle part, and paint. Well, I was thinking of painting this one dark red and then the face mask dark red, while this one is going to be gray, and then the rest will be the regular pink. That's my intention. Oh, and then maybe cut that off here and then paint that dark red as well. So that is a good idea. There we go. We'll cover it up again soon enough. Alright. Let's continue on painting, finish up all the pink parts, and then we'll move on to the next color of this build.